Good morning, people. Hello, it is May 12th, 6 o'clock. We are back to incline. That's exciting. We have a top set of 3 at 85, and then I believe it was a 4x6, or a 4x8, I believe at 60. So that's going to be exciting. And to get back to incline, missed it. Just, I don't know, for flat, it's not really there right now. But like I said, I think that excitement factor plays a big role for me in terms of like training, because like I have to be genuinely excited what I'm doing. So incline is the move for right now, and I'm seeing a lot of progress, both physically, in terms of like structure and strength. So we are going to start stretching, foam rolling, and get moving. So what I wanted to talk about this video was, and we spoke about it, I spoke about it with Mikey and his younger brother, actually Chris, in terms of like, just like with what's going on in the world right now, kind of just like stepping back and like time stamping everything, like what we've done, and you know, like what would we recommend this lifestyle per se, right? Just in terms of like Mikey with the gym, me with the detailing, just this whole like, whatever you want to call it, business, side hustle, entrepreneur lifestyle. You know, like is it really all that glamorous? That's what we're going to talk about this video and throughout the workout. So stay tuned. I think some of you guys want to hear. Just because there's a lot of like, right, you see like that picture on Instagram or that lifestyle on YouTube or whatever, and like it's great, and we're gonna touch base on those few platforms themselves. Just a lot of good talk, a lot of mind shooting everywhere. I'm gonna see if I can get my thoughts in order, but for now, take pre, get our shoes on, start stretching, and let's get moving. Okay. So real quick run back here. So if a lot of people don't know that I did not go to school, at least college. Tried my community school for a while. Not for a while, for like, I think it was like half a year, it was like one semester, not even a full semester, I'm sorry. And just, it didn't click, it never clicked from a young age. I just didn't see myself wanting to just do that for the next, I don't know, 40, 50 years, however long, you know, we get to work. And I just didn't see I don't know, it's just like you knowing the end results, it kind of like, it's not depressing, but it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just like, it's not, you knowing almost the end game and the end picture is not, it's not it. I needed that like excitement factor. And I don't know, a lot of people tell you not to attach like finances to like a passion, because then it's gonna feel like work. But I guess you could argue if you really love what you do though, it's not really gonna feel like work. So, but the flip side of that is, right, I guess that's gonna be, well, but that's what I'm saying, it's a big risk. I don't wanna jump all over the place, but it's a big risk, right? You not knowing, I don't know, I feel like because at a young age, when you're in high school, you're told, you know, like what do you wanna do? At 18, 19, 20 years old, you're asked, what do you wanna do for the next 40 years? When you're pretty much plastered, you know, upside down, drinking a keg. It's like you're not in the greatest, or however your high school career was, but you're not like, how are you in a mindset to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life? It's and it's so pushed heavily against the younger crowds, and this goes on for generations. It's not just ours, it's been our moms, our dads, from before us, and I'm sure it'll continue realistically. But you have to be honest with yourself. Like, how can you, like, that scared me, right? Like, how am I supposed to decide at 18, 19, 20 years old, like, what I want to do for the rest of my life? I mean, life is just starting. If you're just going to college, you're just doing new things, you know? It's like, I don't, how you can make a decision that young to what you want to do for the rest of your life. I think we almost approach it the wrong way. I feel like, you know, like, I feel like if we asked people, how do you want to live your life? And like got that why almost. You know, like what would you like to be doing for the rest of your life? How do you want to live? How does your lifestyle want to be led? How does you know, how do your friends and your family, like how is all the company around you gonna like impact you? I feel like if we ask those questions, you know, we may have a better result. But we're just like, it comes from a lot of like not knowing. And like I said, like for me it was not knowing too, but even still having two parents that didn't go to college, just still pushing like go to college, because you like that like security, right? That everybody like is like, you know, like the regular 9 to 5 for 40 hours. And especially now in times like this, it's questioned, right? Because like a lot of people are out of work. A lot of people are just like, they don't know what to do, or like most people are working from home, but there was a lot of like smaller practices, right? Like we knew, like there's some physical therapists that just like are smaller practices and their shit got shut down and people lost their jobs. And like, right, if you went to, like even if you're a teacher, if you work in a school, that stuff is like gone, like not gone, but like temporarily on pause. But like the world doesn't stop realistically. Like we gotta eat, we gotta, you know, like the basic amenities still run. And times like this make me really, and this is where I touch base with Mikey and his little brother. Times like this really, like, you know, when we were working for 4 or 5 years, you know, sometimes 2, 3, 4 jobs. I've had my most 4 jobs at a time. It was crazy. But also like fund my business, my detailing business, and just like a lot of other things going on. Like I remember, like I never once asked myself, was it worth it? Because I knew it was going to be worth it. If in order for me to drive the cars I liked, to meet the people I've met, to live the lifestyle I wanted to lead, I knew like what needed to be done to achieve that. And I'm not living that perfect life yet, nor do I plan to anytime soon. I am living nice. If I had to describe, you know, like I'm driving one of the cars of my dreams, have great friends around, have, you know, like great business partners and everything. So it's going good, but don't think this stuff comes at a risk, right? Whether it's all an investment, whether it be, and like when people hear the word investment, it doesn't just mean in terms of finances, right? Investment in time, like where your efforts are put, like all of that matters. When people think investment, don't attach a money amount to it, because where you put your time, where you sow your time is gonna play a big role. Like I always use music for an example. What type of music are you, and if you listen to me, I mean, I love listening to music. Like I genuinely love Eminem, Logic, J. Cole, like all the, like, right, I feel like my generation is all like mumble rap and like they don't know what they're talking about. But realistically, I think that plays a role, because like what you constantly surround yourself with on a day-to-day basis, what you're hearing, what you're, even from a boss you don't like, what you're hearing, the doubt, the insignificance, or just like the hate, it's very contagious. And I know a lot of you think it's not the small stuff and it's not the little things that add up, and I'm telling you, there's not a bigger secret, if I had to put it, than a small, wholesome act of good, positive things that amount over time and compound to a bigger picture. You know, let that sit a little. We're gonna start warming up a little. We're gonna do it. That's how we're gonna do this video. I'm gonna, you know, do a set, run back and forth, because I don't wanna I don't want to stay too cold. That's the reason why I came so early, because I do have a regular work day today. But that's how we're gonna do it. Do a set, kind of come back, gather my thoughts, and then we'll re-talk on it. So, touching base on that now. So yeah, now let's backtrack a little bit. So I remember even growing up that I had this one coach, right? Because my whole thing was I was gonna go to a school to play soccer. It's terrible. I was considering Florida State. That's all I did growing up. I wanted to play sports. I played soccer growing up. I was the only thing that was going to keep me at the SUNY school that I was going to go to was, again, the sports. But then another thing I came to a realization was, had I gone to school and did do that, what do you amount to after the 4th year, right? So on the flip side of that, Mikey went to school, I think LSU, if I'm not mistaken, I'll correct it if not, and played lacrosse. 4 year. We were talking about our different paths, because me and Mikey didn't know each other for a long time. But when Mikey first came to my powerlifting meet, we literally were vibing the same exact day, it was just there. Like, mentally, we were on the same wavelength. Mindset was there, and everything. And so that took off right away, instantly. But he went, followed his dream sport, played. Doesn't regret a single move, but he went, right, comes 4 years out of school. What I think he studied, I want to say graphic design, which again is playing a role because it is helping him with the gym. But again, with the gym itself, he did not need to go to school. So you could argue where what he went to school for, he didn't actually apply. It's still in the performance field, right? Gym, sports, athleticism, and all. So, but I don't think you come from playing sports to owning a gym. Owning a gym and owning a gym and playing a sport is like very, very different. It's not. They are in the same field. I understand that, but it's not as like, oh, it's in a sports field or it's an athletic field, so it makes sense. It really doesn't. I could see how it makes sense, but it really, it's night and day. It's not. There's a difference between like playing something for leisure and like owning something like this. I think gyms and like restaurants are just like they're not the best business platforms. Just a lot of high demand and very high risk, low reward type of thing. Now flip the switch and come back to me. I knew, right, and different upbringings, me and Mike. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but Mikey comes from a great family in terms of like finances and everything. Nothing wrong with that, and nor did I. And I'm not saying that because I came up like as a poor upbringing or anything. Still a super healthy lifestyle, constant roof over my head. Like we never struggled, but there's a difference between like middle class and like really, but that's besides the point. But again, like to me, my money was worth, like I was paying everything the whole way when it came to my lifestyle, from cars to business fronts to equipment that I would like to invest in. Like everything came out of my, like camera stuff, all that stuff came out of my pocket. College would have came out of my pocket. So I genuinely made a decision that I was like, all right, after 4 years, like if I played a sport, like what would it have amounted to? Could I gotten in the performance field? Could I have gotten in the, but like I really thought about it, like is $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a year, if not more, like I don't even know what colleges are going for nowadays. Would it have been worth it for me? And for me, it was like no, because like I would have left just doing what I've already been doing my whole life, playing a sport. So I came to a conscious decision that I was like, all right, instead of wasting all my money, and for me it was, I'm not saying college is a waste of money, but for me personally, what would have been a waste of my money I chose to invest in like, I don't know, just like some small books, like, and I'm not a big book reader, but there were some small books that I did read. Wow, the sun is killing me. Just like 1 or 2 books. Like I said, I'm not an avid book reader. I'm a doer. I'm not really I'm more of a hands-on type of learner. So self-education was key for me, like what I wanted to do, how I wanted to apply it, actually doing and not wishing. Because that's the only problem I have with people who are like, I like reading books. You can read all the books in the world. I mean, if the dumbest person is working just a little bit more than you, he's gonna do a little bit, like that's not rocket science. Whoever's actually applying what they, even as little as they know, whoever's actually applying like and doing the work is the one that's gonna get ahead, which is what gave me hope, because I'm not the smartest guy. But yeah, it would have been a waste of time and money. So that's the census I came to. I was like, all right, can I just do something that like, and I was lost the entire way, right? This isn't your regular follow the yellow brick road type of path. But I had to make money, right? So that's the time, I think out of high school I had 2 jobs, right? Kind of balancing the third with my father. He owns a construction company. So like kind of like helping him where it needed to be helped. But I knew I couldn't be dead in the water, right? Like the fact of the not knowing scared me, which is why I don't necessarily recommend this style of living. Just because it is hard, and it takes a toll on you mentally. And for those of you that think, and I'll go back to what I said over there with social media and everything. Social media, like in terms of like, let's just stick on Instagram for this point. It's a free platform, right? So what a lot of people don't understand is there's a lot of people talking about like what I don't know, just like take your favorite, I guess, source of motivation, right? And really, instead of like picking on people, like here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Take your biggest source of motivation on Instagram, and this is a black and white area because there are people that are actually doing the work, but take your favorite person on social media, and if like take the social media aspect away from them. Is it all talk, or do they have something to show for it? And that's what I spoke about with Mikey too. Like we're not big on social media by any means. We do want to like align ourselves with it and kind of get that exposure, just because we have a lot going on in our lives and we think it's pretty interesting. And it's kind of cool with all the camera stuff. But don't think for a second that all these guys that are talking about like motivation and mindset and this and that, and it's like, right, they've been doing it for years and years and years. And this is not for the people who are actually like showing like what they've accomplished in life. I'm not talking about the people who are like let's talk about I'm sure everybody who watches me, Christian Guzman. Guy loves talking about motivation and all this and all that. And why that doesn't bother me, why he does it, is because he has to show for it, right? There's a lot of people who are just like, they, like in social media, like there's literally groups on social media, and you cannot say I'm wrong because I've been involved, I actually witnessed it, that are in what are they called? Engagement groups. You're literally, you're in a group of people. What that is a group of people. You're direct messaging them, and then you're like, hey, I just made, in that message, you'll be like, hey, I made a new post, go like and comment. Right now, who are you really inspiring doing that? And that is a jab at some people, but if you really need that social validation to really think you're changing somebody's life, shame on you. Like, your stuff should be found from a source of genuine interest. Like this one guy messaged me and Mikey, and he said he followed the whole journey from open gym to now. And he was like, I find you guys, it's this kid that goes to, where is it, Marist. I think he's 20 or 21 years old. He messaged me over the weekend. And that's genuinely great, making real connections. That's awesome. And on that social aspect, that's great. But like, for you to just show or like almost fluke people that you're getting ahead and you're getting like common interest, when like there's a pattern of like people who are just like commenting on your stuff, like oh my god, great stuff, and meanwhile they're not reading your captions, they're liking the picture and dropping the same boring comment like, yeah, you got it, keep going. You know, like that's not it. I don't know, it's like I said, it's a very gray area. And I don't mind the motivational talk on Instagram. But like I said, if I met you in real life, what do you have to show for it? And that does matter. It really does. And for people who are like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's mindset. Well, realistically, yes, mindset is a lot, but like, I want to make sure your walk is backing your talk, really, you know, per se. Don't be all this, you know, like, and then you're living in an apartment that's not like, you know, and you're like this boring human being in real life. You know, like if a lot of you guys, actually, I mean, whoever watches me, you definitely know me in real life. This is it. Like how I'm talking is what you're getting. I'm this excited. I'm this loud. I talk before I speak. You know, that's just the guy I am. And it's exciting. But when it comes down to that motivating factor, I think, and we'll pick up on this topic once I'm done with this set. I think motivation's a little overrated in today's society. Yeah, let that sit for a little. Let's knock this out. Okay, motivation, overrated, yes, I stand by that. Why? Because if you need to depend on external factors to have somebody like push you to do what you want to do, to give you some sense of like validation, I think you need to check yourself. If you need someone's approval to go out and follow your dream life, you need to check yourself. We have great, if you're fortunate to have great friends, loving parents, just good relationships in your life, right? Which most of us are. Don't think for a second that there's not going to be some resistance when it comes to you, right, pushing out of your comfort zone, as people label it. It's not a side people are going to root for. It's not a side it's like well populated. It's the least chosen path known to man for the longest time. It really comes down to discipline. You're not going to get. I mean, when I started detailing, my dad would yell at me, right? Like water bill, driveway space, garage space, you name it, right? Spending too much money, whatever whatever excuse you got from your parents, or like once you started pushing the boundaries on anything, I've heard it all. When I started to actually do the craft, was doing it for free just to get my name out there. I did it with snow on the floor. I remember running inside and grabbing like hot water from the bathroom tub, just to make sure like my hands wouldn't get like frostbite or something. And literally doing it for free with damn near ice on the floor. And even then, if you told me like, you know, like, is it worth it for me to put those, you know, for me to do that and like have that sense of drive, I guess you can label it. I think that's when my dad started realizing that no matter what he said, no matter what, I mean, even still to this day, my parents are like, hey, go to college. And it's just silly because you can't change, and we love them, right? You can't, like, I'm not saying this for like some kind of revolution or, but you have to be mature enough in like mindset and all that to understand that they don't know any better, right? So they're going on like information that's been distributed before them. So they're not gonna know better, and they're gonna push what they think is correct. So that's why, to me, is motivation a deciding factor? Yes. Does it help? Absolutely. But I think it's a little too much relied on for something that's so like scarce. Realistically, there's a lot of, you can have all the motivation in the world, right? And this goes back to like doers and like wannabes, right? There, you can have all the motivation in the world. If you don't start applying it, it's not gonna amount to anything. You're gonna be going super fast on a road you don't even know where it's gonna end. So be smart with it. I mean, I'm not motivated 100% of the time. I'm not even motivated half of the time, honestly. But what does motivate me, right, but not in like an exciting way, is the fact that like, because you guys haven't lived where like you don't know where your next paycheck is coming from. And I've been at that time multiple times. I've been at that level multiple times in my life, where like there's a bill due in like 14 or like less amount of days, and I'm like, where am I gonna get the money? So that right, like again, that scare factor, that excitement factor, is something not a lot of people are cut out for. Like, it's a big risk, and that's what I'm saying. If this is a journey you truly want to embark on, you better like pack your ammunition and you're going against a lot of people, and it's gonna get tiring. I mean, even still now to this day, that my dad still doesn't believe that I'm pulling that car, you know, the GTR, out of the garage, and even still with that like concrete evidence, he's still like, you know, like, don't do too much, right? And it comes from a sense of him not knowing, and it's okay. But really, if you have to depend on an external factor such as motivation for someone to really sell you on the life that you want to live, it sounds kind of silly, right, when I say it, but a lot of people are dependent on that. Just like really discipline yourself. And it's not, like I said, it's not like this doesn't happen overnight, right? Like, I'm 4 or 5 years into this like small journey, which is gonna go on for a while, you know, God willing. But it's not the popular opinion, which is why it bothers me when people like who aren't doing anything with life, they're just working a regular 9-to-5 job, and are putting out like this motivation and like talking this big game of like, I'm changing myself and doing this and doing that, and they're really not. Like, nothing has changed in the year, 2 years, 3 years, you know, like, and change doesn't come over time, but you don't need to tell people what you're doing, is my point. Is like, me and Mikey just picked up actually Mikey had the camera, but he wasn't like vlogging. Now he's starting to vlog because I'm kind of pushing him. But we didn't have any of this due to social standpoints. Like, there's nothing if you look at Mike's Instagram and my Instagram, we're not right? But that doesn't matter, because I mean, a lot of people are like, you're thinking like social media pays you, right? And like I said, this isn't a hit at the people who are actually like doing what they do and like and showing their transparency on Instagram, because those are the people that are like, those are the people I listen to, who actually have something to show for it, and that's important. But don't think for a second that, I mean, anybody can write, anybody can write a verse from a Bible and claim they're religious on Instagram. It's not special. It doesn't impress me. How do you walk in your life? How do you like talk to a stranger who has nothing to offer you? That's what matters to me. Those are always going to be the differences. And I picked that up at a young age, because there's some people who are just like, I met X person in real life and he's a douche, or he's a this and he's a that, and like that woke me up, and I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. If I decided to do social media or anything, and like I'm saying, as I talk, this is it. As you get like you walk through that door right now, this is me. I'm talking the same exact way. But I'm a goofy guy deep down. Like I don't talk on this level to everybody, because people don't get this side of me, because if you're not realistically at this level, and I'm not saying I'm higher than anybody, but like if you're not at that pinnacle of like a mindset, or you just don't want this, like why, like realistically you don't want to hear about it, and I don't want to waste my time talking about it, so why would I express it? So having that versatility is just dangerous. So just take that with a cup of salt. Cup of salt? You see what I mean by like I speak it before thinking? But yeah, I don't know how long this video is gonna go on for. I'm looking at these clips, they're like 10-15 minutes long. But I'd rather to wrap it up here, right? I'd rather you sell out to your dreams and like, what you believe in deep down, than, because this is not right. If anybody's even considering joining this or jumping on this route of doing things your way, guys, I'm gonna tell you one thing: it does not get easier. It does not get easier. I'm telling you right now, even still doing this 4 or 5 years later, with small things to show for it, even from family and friends, I'm still like laughing at it, because like but if you know, and let that resonate for a second. Because if you know, one, what you're worth, and that you're gonna get it at no cost, then like there's no like, oh okay, like I care what mom said, or I care what dad said, or I care what my brother thinks of me. Because that doesn't come from a weak mindset, which is why I'm telling you, like, if someone has to sell you, and it's like the third time I'm saying it, if someone has to sell you on a life that you want to live and lead, then this is not for you. If you're depending on motivation or social validation or acceptance of any sort, then this is not for you. I'm telling you, this is a field where you're not going to be able to please everybody, and you have to be okay with that. You're not like, someone is you're a douche, you're a this, you're a that, you're flexing, you're showing a lifestyle that's not fair. Mikey commented on, I think it was Mark's page, what's his name? Oh my God, owner of ST Strength. Oh my God, what the hell's it? All right, I think you guys know his name. But this guy like commented, he's like, to the extent of like, gym owners should not be allowed to work out in their gym in this quarantine. Like, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Like, if you can't afford the car that I have, does that mean I'm not allowed to drive it? And I'm not trying to be a douche when I say that, but we work hard for our things. We're allowed to enjoy the fruits of our labor. Like, why would you even say something so obnoxious to knock down, like, just because you don't have this luxury of life, that means someone else can't enjoy it? He was like, you don't have to post it. What we post and not post is not up to you, right? And that's kind of like biting my own tongue with the whole motivational mindset stuff. You can do whatever you want to do, but times like this is showing like who's working and who's not. metaphorically, right? I'm not saying, not literally, but like, who are the workers and who are the talkers? That's a silly, like, we live in a very weak environment right now, and it's all due to the social media, because you can freely talk on all these platforms and expose and put yourself in the best light possible. But then, like, when time comes around where it's like real life meetings or whatever, you're just not it. You're not shit. And I'm sorry for being blunt, but like that's the extent of it, realistically. Just the point being is, you can have whatever you would like in this life, and just whatever you can't. And this is where I'll close it, because I was talking to Chris yesterday, Mikey's younger brother. Whatever you can't stop thinking about, like whenever you lay down at night, whenever you wake up in the morning, or like when your boss yells at you because you're coming in late, or like they're not seeing the good work you do, like that stuff that keeps nagging in your head, like, should I do this, or like a business idea or whatever. That's the stuff you gotta go for. Right, because if you told me washing a car with a freaking sponge and soap at 18 years old would have bought me one of my dream cars, I would have called bullshit. But I'm so sold out on the fact that I could make it work. And it's not so much the act or the labor of doing something, it's the conviction within the dream, within that like mindset that you have. And I feel like that's where America kind of goes wrong. We gotta push the things that you truly want to care about in the future. Like if family is really important to you, if charities are really important to you, whatever it is, whatever X factor is, it's really important to you. Like, why wouldn't you work towards it? It's all yours. It's up for grabs, but it doesn't happen overnight. That's where we're gonna end it here. I'm sure I repeated myself multiple times. I gotta finish my workout, honestly, and it's already 6:40. I don't know if I'm gonna cut this up or I might just keep it raw and throw it out there. But that's, I'm sure there's some stuff I missed on that I wanted to talk about, but, sorry, I got a message. I'm sure there's some stuff I missed out that I wanted to talk about, but like I said, this is not really a side of me. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, or even if you've been following me on YouTube, this is not a side I really show, because like I said, I don't like telling people not like telling people, but actions go further than words, right? So like, that's why I feel like even with the car and and even with, my early journey in the gym, which again is going to take off in due time, is more important than like talking it, right? I don't just pick up what you guys think is just me picking up the video and showing my workouts, is just like showing you that, like, no matter, right, if it's a shit day, if it's a this, if it's a that, we're still working. And that's just what it takes, realistically. So your finger's always on the trigger in this aspect. What you want to do solely depends on you. You can have all the motivation behind you. If you don't pull that trigger, you're not going anywhere. You can have zero motivation behind you, but if you pull that trigger, get ready for a ride, just think about that, guys. I'm always here for help if you guys need any questions. Like I said, this is just how I grew up. This was my journey. I had great people along the way to help me. Not a lot, but good quality people along the way to help me. If there's any way I can help, or just any questions you have, always either comment, or if you want to private message me. I know a lot of you guys are private messaging me, which is fine. I'm helping you where I can. Just any way I can help, anyway. I know it sounds kind of blunt and harsh me talking this way, but that's just the realism of it. So yeah, we'll cap it here. Guys, we'll catch you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this one. Like I said, it's not the way I talk. This is not the way like I carry myself day to day. This is how I gather my thoughts, but this is not like normal in terms of like how I express myself. But if you guys like it, drop a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more, let me know. Comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see next. And we will catch you guys in the next one.